So for those that haven't met me, my name is Ariel Ginga. I'm the founder of Atlanta Public Speaking. I started this organization out of sheer frustration. Everybody say frustration.
Frustration.
Okay, that's usually the best way to get motivation in life and to actually cause us to act. Mm-hmm. Is it enough to journal about something and think about something, or do we have to take action? This is a no-brainer.
We have to act.
We have to act, guys. So in 2012, I tried a lot of different things to try to fix, whether you call it social anxiety or public speaking anxiety, or whether you call it fear of speaking to groups. I don't know what it was, but I know that I tried a lot of different things to fix it. How many people have ever heard of organizations where you get up and you give a speech for like 5 to 7 minutes? Okay, yes.
What?
Like Toastmasters?
Kind of like that, yeah, kind of like that. And how many people have actually tried one of those? Okay,
I've been to a class.
couple classes here and there. Okay, I did quite a few of those speeches, and unfortunately for me, it didn't really do the trick. I tried other programs where I had to speak. I took on business communication courses, and I really was serious about fixing it, because for me, public speaking was the one domino. Everybody say the one thing.
The one thing.
The one thing. Everybody, who's ever read that book called The One Thing by Uri Geller? He talks about if there's a domino in your life and you knock it over, it'll tilt over all the other dominoes in your life. So for me, what I realized is that public speaking is that domino. Mm-hmm. And it was that domino for me, because it was impacting my mental health. Anybody ever been to a network event and you're constantly overthinking because there's all these strangers in the room, and you gotta mix and mingle, you gotta rub elbows, but at the same time I don't know what to say. These are strangers, and I don't want to be judged. I don't want to come in there and then say something and feel rejection, right? And so think about how much mental bandwidth that's eating up in your brain. It's more than you realize. Or maybe you're at a dinner table, at that dinner table, Thanksgiving, believe it or not, it's just right around the corner again, right? Isn't that amazing? Time flies. And then you see yourself at a table, and there's even friends or family. I come from a big family. Anybody else come from a big family? And then you start telling the story, right? And then you start the story, and it's like, oh yeah, get this. And then as soon as you start the story, you notice, all eyes on me. You guys know that song by Tupac? Yeah. All eyes on me. And then what do a lot of people do? They start getting the short little alligator arms, and they get a little stifled, and then they just fade out into the background and pass the buck to somebody else. Anybody can relate to that? Mm-hmm. Keeping your answers real short, your input really short. But the person who seems to be the leader of the group, the charismatic person in the circle, just has no problems keeping people's attention. Right? So I was fascinated. How can I become that person? Is that possible? And so it was impacting my mental health. It was impacting my dating life. It was impacting my social life. It was impacting my career. Oh my goodness. Somebody say, show me the money. Oh my goodness. So it was impacting my career big time. Now, why would public speaking anxiety impact someone's career? I was in property management for about 10 years, so I love the whole real estate and working with apartments. Beautiful industry, but why do you guys think lack of public speaking ability would impact someone's career?
Confidence, lacking confidence means that other people will lack confidence in you, which can impact yourselves.
Well, public speaking too is all about selling at the end of the day, selling yourself.
And you have to be able to convince people, to buy what you're selling.
Yeah.
You should be able to talk to them.
Yeah, and you know, you're in a role right now. You're gonna be convincing. You gotta convince neighborhoods and da da da. And what's the best way to convince someone? Is it through sales tactics? How about the ones that go under the radar? Unseen sales tactics, ninja tactics. Are those like the best way to convince people? Everybody say force of personality.
Force of personality.
That's the best way to convince people. Now you got to be authentic. You can't be forceful and fake. You got to be forceful and genuine. But you can't be forceful if you got something holding you back. That's like trying to drive with the brakes on. And a lot of you're trying to drive with the brakes on when you're talking to folks. You're not fully letting go. Now, in your mind's eye, you are. Man, I see myself on stage. Or I see myself giving this kind of presentation. And there's my boss, and everybody's rallied around. I see myself doing this, and everyone's excited. But then, when the moment comes, and you're like, here I go. It's like it doesn't play out like that, does it? There's release muscles, and there's control muscles. And a lot of people, we're in our control muscles. What I'm here to help you to do is to get into your release muscles, to totally let it go. There is no need to fear public speaking. All that you need is within you right now. Public speaking is not one of those type of skills that requires a lot of time to master. Do you know why? Now, it might be hard for some of you. It took me decades to realize this. You've been speaking since the age of 2.
Right.
And if you've ever been to a wedding, and who here likes to drink a tequila or wine or beer?
Margarita.
Or margarita, or Strong Island, or you're a big guy. It takes a lot to knock you
Or
down.
all the above, right?
Let's just make a happy hour on a Saturday morning, you know. And so, have you ever been in those kind of situations where you're a little buzzed, and all of a sudden you're totally in the zone? So what? Now what? You're a level 10 public speaker. Do you understand? Like you already have the skills. But it's not enough to understand that. So we know that. But then what's the answer? Are we going to drink on the job? Because then we got to keep drinking, you know. Like,
Yeah.
we got to keep it up, right? Like every 2 hours, I got to sneak a couple. Yeah, I used to have those the tiny ones, you know, the little tiny ones you get at the liquor store, the little vodkas, the little whiskeys. Keep a couple in the pockets right here. And then put some in the coffee. That way they're not going to smell it on the breath. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, right. So I was a really tough case. Now, guys, I stopped drinking 4 years ago. What I can tell you is that our brain, you're a pharmacist, our brain has the ability to produce all those chemicals, the dopamines. What are they? The
Neurotransmitters, whatever.
Neurotransmitters, the serotonin,
Adrenaline.
the adrenaline. Well, we don't want too much of that. No. The oxytocin, all of those type of things, right? We do want a little adrenaline, and it can do it naturally, right? Somebody was in the class the other day. They're like, "Hey, man, if you take this beta blocker, you won't feel any nerves." I'm like, but that's the kind of stuff I'm trying to not do, because my brain can do all of that stuff, on its own. And here's the thing about beta blockers: they'll make you tired eventually, sluggish. Yeah, you don't feel nerves, but you're also flatlining. Okay, how good is that when you're trying to convince the whole neighborhood? You just got no energy there, but no nerves either. Or you're drinking and then come on, man, that's not the way to go. Or maybe I don't know. I'm just saying, I tried all of those things, and none of them really worked for me. So I was definitely in a place of absolute frustration, and it took me to the point where I just said, I have to do something about it. And guys, if I'm really honest with all of you, I was in a very dark place. I mean, I was in a very dark place where I didn't even know if I wanted to be here anymore. Because a lot of times people that resort to demonic tactics or activities, they're actually, if you really peel back the onion, they're very lonely. And they want to connect. You know, and we've had something tragic happen this week with Charlie Kirk, and it's very, very sad. Regardless, I'm not going to go into that. We don't have time to go on, into that at the moment. Now, I've never had those kind of tendencies to, you know, harm anybody else, but at times I had an instinct to harm myself. And even if it's not that deep for you, think about how much potential, because a lot of things we just don't even understand the opportunity cost that's costing us, right? There's, you know, the cost of action, but there's also the cost of inaction. And a lot of times we just don't think about that. We stick to our familiarities and our comfort zone, and we just say that, you know what, eventually I'll get ready to get ready. Well, for me, that took 3 decades. And then finally in 2012, I made a radical transformation. And I transformed myself from an introvert into an extrovert. And when I did that, I started Atlanta public speaking because I said, this took me 3 freaking decades to do. And that's why I want to let you guys know that any other program out there that I personally tried, all of them had an on-off button. You guys know what I mean when I say that? An on-off button?
Explain.
So energy didn't stay consistent, or?
Yes. Yeah. So I could be in a class and then maybe I could do the drill or do the 5-minute speech, and sometimes I would memorize it. But when it came time to actually, you know, actually hold that energy, I couldn't. It was like a character. So there was always on off. And what I really wanted was a deep level identity shift. I really wanted to always feel confident.
Yeah.
How many people here you want to feel always confident? To where if I look in the camera, some of you guys, you want to start social media channels, YouTube channels, etc. And when you look in the camera, wouldn't it be nice to just do a one take without any kind of preparation at all?
Yeah.
And the first thing I'm gonna try to embed into your subconscious mind here today, because in order to get to the subconscious, we have to first bring something to the forefront of our mind. So we go from the back to the front. Okay? Awareness. It's the first step. And I want you guys to be aware of this, and I want this to be embedded into your subconscious mind. And it starts here, and here's a writer-downer. I would love for you to write down. It is, I have endless content for days and days and days and days without any prep at all. Who wants to read that out just in case somebody, if I said that a little too fast? Who wants to read that out?
I have endless content for days and days and days and days without any prep at all.
Without any prep at all. So that means if I said, hey, James, I'm leading a conference in Miami. I got one. It's a multi-city type of deal. I got one in Atlanta. All of a sudden, I got to go do the Miami one. The backup speaker, he got sick. I got to go there. You're covering Atlanta for the next 3 days. You're on stage. You're going to talk. Boom. Here's the mic. Bye. Guess what? You could do it. You could do it. And you could do it. And you could do it. And you could do it. Like, what would I talk about?
Yeah.
What would I talk about? Well, you start acknowledging the first things that, you notice, that you feel. All right, so Ariel's in Miami, guys. My name is Clayton, and honestly, I have no idea what I'm going to say to you guys, but he gave me the microphone for the next 3 days. And first of all, I feel a little overwhelmed by the moment.
Yeah.
You start talking about what you feel.
Okay.
And the memory works like a kinetic chain. Overwhelmed by the moment. There's something that we call grab words. We grab on to the last thing that was said. In the meeting, in the conversation with the patients, last thing you said on the social media post, last thing you said, last thing that was said. Does that make sense? Latch words, grab words.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? We grab onto a couple of them. So I'm over here, like, okay, for the next 3 days I gotta talk. I'm a little overwhelmed by the moment, guys. Maybe a key word could be overwhelmed. Now, how many people you've ever been overwhelmed by something in your life? Whether it's being up here like I'm doing, and I don't know what I'm going to say for the next 3 days. How many times have you guys felt such a way to where you don't know what you're going to do? You've been in over the hill to where you don't even know what you're going to say. Mm-hmm. Anybody ever felt speechless in their life? You say, I'm giving you 3 days content right now. But do you see how it comes?
That kind of sounds like an icebreaker, though. Icebreaker, too.
Yeah, but it's a kinetic chain.
Yeah.
So the
I keep
word,
grabbing, I keep latching,
Yeah,
and
I
then
see that,
for the
but-
next 3 days, I keep developing.
so the latch word is kind of like the topic. It leads into what you want to talk about.
So, yeah. So for instance, maybe the latch word that from what you just said is topic.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say, okay, so we're talking about topics, right? What are some different topics that are relevant right now in 2025? It could be AI. It could be about mental health. It could be, tariffs. Thank you. You know what I mean? Like, you can spin it in any direction. You can spin it. So I grab on to one or two words that was just said or that I just said.
Okay.
Kinetic chain. Kinetic chain. That's why we have content for days and days and days. Now, to expound on that, I'm going to give you guys the building blocks of content. Everybody say the building blocks
Building blocks.
Building blocks
of content.
of content.
Okay, here we go. Everybody say questions.
Question.
So we can always ask the audience questions. Meaning, like if we're talking about topics, I don't have to just say, okay, so we're going to talk about topics today. I can ask them a lot of questions.
I see.
Hey, what topics are relevant for you in your life right now?
Mental health.
Mental health? Me too. Okay? And what is it about mental health that you think right now it's so real because mental health has been explored for many, many years? Why is it right now being like put on our table?
Because before it was a taboo, but like now you have like famous figures actually coming forward to being open about their mental health, and that really helps other people to come forward to talk about their mental health as well. So like for example, you have like basketball stars, where they actually came forward and became more open about their mental health. So if they're able to come forward and talk about their mental health, it can actually make it easier for other normal individuals to talk about their mental health as well. Especially because too, like certain cultures will kind of like diminish people from talking about their mental health. It'll be seen as like weak to come forward and say I'm depressed or I'm anxious or something like that.
And what do you think would be the overall impact if everybody puts mental health on a pedestal?
Yeah.
So we're in the building blocks of content, and we're talking about questions. And then, so I want you guys to say,
Mental health.
I will learn
I will learn
to flip my statements
to flip my statement
into questions.
Into
questions.
Okay.
In fact, even that, what I just said, could I learn to flip my statements into questions? Gee, I wonder. I just did, didn't I? Get in the habit of asking a lot of questions. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Everybody follow.
Yes.
Yeah.
You guys tracking? Am I talking too fast?
No.
No.
You ever been there before? Right or wrong? True or false?
True.
Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. So what am I doing? I'm creating these little yes ladder
Just yes.
type of
Yeah.
questions where the answer is always gonna be.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then how do I know that I'm doing the yes ladder questions?
Okay.
Is because I'm looking at their heads. And I'm looking for what?
A nod.
Yes, correct.
The attention.
Because when the epinephrine starts in the brain, floods through the veins, all of a sudden we're like, am I doing these techniques that I learned in public speaking class? Well, just look for nods. That way you don't have to be so, you can feel the nerves and still perform. So everybody say, I will learn
I will learn.
to make the butterflies
Make the butterflies.
fly in formation.
Information.
That means they'll never go away. And the minute that they go away, I'm retiring. I'm going to do something else because I want the butterflies. I don't want them to stop me. Y'all see the difference? I want the butterflies. Or else I feel flat. I'm like, okay, thank you, God, I got to do something else. Like if I don't feel passion, if I don't feel energy, what's the difference between going on Six Flags ride and then doing public speaking in front of 2,000 people? The bodily sensations I'm talking about. There ain't none. It's just the interpretation we give. You see? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Or if you're like, God forbid, but if you're about to like get into a fight, like a old-fashioned fist fight with somebody, right before, right? Like, what are you gonna feel?
Butterflies.
Butterflies, big time, right? You don't know if they know black belt jiu-jitsu, you don't know, but all you know is that, you had a couple too many at the bar, and now you escalated to here, and now they're in your face, and now anybody could swing, and and then emotions also come into play, and that's what I'm telling you guys, stop drinking. So you don't get in those scenarios, okay? No, I'm just kidding. I'll keep drinking. Keep drinking. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, I'm kidding about that. You probably should stop drinking, but only if I'm working with a law firm right now. I got corporate teams. I do social media. I do a lot of stuff. This is my full-time thing. I love it. And I went in his office last week, and he's got the little, what are the balancing scales, the little thing. And so here's my way to think about, should I give something up if it's like a vice that could lead to your demise, does it produce more cons than pros? Right. And if it's like weighing this way, then yeah, I am probably telling you, no, in fact, I am telling you, quit. If it's more cons than pros. But if it's like, no, for me, like I got it, I handle it pretty well, then maybe keep it, control it. Okay, so the building blocks of content, okay? Next one, everybody say personal stories.
Personal stories.
So, meaning, you're up here, and you're like, Ariel's in Miami, and here I am. And the first thing is you start asking a bunch of questions. You start calling out the moment. Yeah, it could be a little intro, but we talked about little latch words. Usually about one or two, at least two. Go for two. Go for two. Would you agree that in life it's good to have options? It's good to have options, right? And then, but you can also go into a story at any time. So stories are very powerful, are they not? Right? Stories are very powerful. So at any moment, you could just go into a story, right? And you know what? If I'm really honest with everybody here, like this kind of reminds me of, a 7th grade book report when maybe I got up there and I felt like I I was not quite ready for it. So there I was, I'm 13 years old, and like, right? You build a story. You see? So these are building blocks of content. In fact, how many people here watch podcasts? And isn't this what they do at podcasts?
Mm-hmm.
They're just like rattling off these things that I'm giving you right now, the building blocks of content.
Yeah.
Questions, personal stories. Everybody say observational stories.
Observational stories.
Now, what's the difference?
Personal is your own story. Observational could be somebody else's.
Well, you can use someone else's story, right? Like you observed
Yeah,
someone
exactly.
else's life do X, Y, Z, and you learn some big lesson from that.
Exactly. So, the other day I was watching YouTube. They were talking about, I was watching this podcast, and they were talking about blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
Right? So something to that effect.
Yeah.
Right? I was at the barber shop, I was getting my hair cut, and I overheard a conversation, and I thought, So something you observed, right? I was reading a book. I was inside Barnes & Noble. I noticed the book. The title, it really grabbed my attention. It was called Blink. And I was like, what?
I haven't.
You got that book. So, but you see, it was observational.
Yeah.
And then in that book, Malcolm Gladwell, he talks about, and I started observing, and I share that. This making sense?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So far, so good.
So far, so
Okay. These are the building blocks of
Communication.
content or communication. Same thing. Content is communication. That's all it is. Okay, so next one, everybody say statistics.
statistics.
So we can always throw in a statistic, right? In fact, did you know that 93% of the population fears public speaking? You're part of the 7 that's actually willing to say, okay, maybe I'm a little shaky about it, but I'm willing to do something about it. That's a great step. We said it earlier. I think we said it earlier. 85% of success is just one thing. 85% of success is just, what do you guys think it is? Showing up. Just that alone, guys. 85%, you're already 85% further of everybody else out there. So I want to acknowledge you guys for being here today. And obviously I can't reach everybody, but I want you to do me a big favor and go ahead and reach out both hands. Just reach out both hands. And then everybody, go ahead. I can see you. Reach out both hands. Let's play along. And then turn to your neighbor, give him a pat on the back, say congratulations for being here today. I mean, 85% of success is just showing up, just being here. It's that important, guys, right? So statistics. Then we have expert opinion. Everybody say expert opinion.
Expert opinion.
Now, expound on that. Because if you understand it,
Yeah.
then I know, like, okay, it makes sense for you. So what does that mean in your own words?
I would say like maybe a clinical study that you read. For me, I would read a clinical study. And I would say this study found whatever. It could lean towards statistics, but when you name that person who did the study, then you're more relying on that person's title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I would think about like Warren Buffett, how he would basically give a testimony on how public speaking can build your overall craft.
Yes. Yes. I like that. So the first one was a case study. Everybody say case study and write that
Case
down
study.
too.
Case study.
Write that down. So that's a building blocks of content. Is also we can throw in a case study. Very good. You guys see how we're just kinetically putting this together? Right? And then there's also the expert opinion. And it is like, it's a little bit of both. Like you could think about somebody on social media. You could think about somebody like, so-and-so, the leader of the neighborhood, he said, and so you get someone that agrees with what you're trying to push, and then you insert their opinion. Just like, like you said, Warren Buffett, he agrees with public speaking, so I'm going to take what he said about public speaking. I'm going to insert it because I'm trying to push it, that it is the one thing. It's the one domino that once you knock it over, it's going to knock over every other domino in your life.
Does that person have to be popular?
Great question. No, does not. Usually somebody popular in your industry. So if I'm talking to homeowners, maybe popular in that subdivision or popular in that association or in that city, or it could be someone that's popular. So this is not a question of or, but it's more of the answer is and. It could be this and that, but no, it doesn't have to be. Good question, good
Like
question.
mom or dad, everybody has a mom and dad, or is that lean towards personal?
I was saying more towards personal.
Okay.
So think about someone that's considered an expert either in our industry or celebrity.
Okay.
Okay. We also have, everybody say analogy.
Analogy.
So nowadays, how many people here you present with slides?
Used to.
With slides.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Sometimes.
with slides. Okay. Here's my pro tip for 2025, as we're about to go into 2026. I want you to feed every single slide into ChatGPT and tell it to give me an analogy for every slide. Not for every PowerPoint deck, not for presentation, but for every slide. So if you're giving a 10-slide presentation, how many analogies should AI give you?
10 analogies.
10 analogies, okay?
So you said to prompt it to give you 10 analogies?
For every.
One per slide. So this is the slide I'm going to do next. You could describe it, or you could feed it into it, and then say, give me an analogy. And if you don't like it, give me another one. Like, I don't know, give me until one that sticks, right? So who can think about an analogy that you heard recently in a presentation? Or maybe one that you read about? What about the importance of communication between marketing and IT? It's kind of like running. Everybody say kind of like bridge.
Kind of bridge.
We're gonna put the audience on a kind of like bridge. Oh, Six Flags, here we go. It's kind of like running a relay race, and we're dropping the baton so the other person can't go forward and has to come back, pick up the baton, and that's going to cause us to lose. And that's why our competitors are going to overtake us. You guys see? So that's why it's very important that we have that open line of communication so that every department is running together in the same race and nobody drops the baton. Like that? Everybody say, I gotta build a plane while I'm flying it.
I gotta build a plane.
I'm fine.
And so I don't want you to ever doubt. If you're in a kind of meeting where they throw questions at you, and you're like, man, I wasn't ready for these questions, they're throwing me off. I mean, I had a plan going into this presentation, but now they're giving me these questions and I wasn't quite ready for it. Well, I gotta build a plane while I'm flying it. And if I believe that I have endless content for days and days and days, then I do have stuff to say. I'll rattle off something. I'm going to give you guys another one that I want you to go ahead and write down, and I want you to really remember this. And that is, and say it out loud, everything that comes from my mouth
That comes from our mouth
is pure gold.
It's pure gold.
That's the belief that I have. I want you to lower the barometer of what needs to be deemed as interesting. The fact that it came from your mouth means that it has value. And I want you to believe and have conviction in what you're saying. Are you guys willing?
Yeah.
Yes.
So if they throw questions at you, and you're not, you're kind of like, Okay, I don't necessarily have an answer. What are you gonna do? Go like this. I gotta.
Build a plane while you're flying.
That's right. Because everything that comes from my mouth is
Pure gold.
yes, and I have endless
Content.
for
3 days.
Days and days and days.
without
Preparation.
preparation. Wonderful! Great! This is good. I like it. So there's not many curveballs they could throw at me. And then what are some systematic ways to deal with curveballs to buy a little time?
Questions. Observations.
Without that's the building blocks of content. But if they throw curveballs at you, you might repeat the question. So what you're asking is, if so-and-so development and this challenge comes up, will we be able to, like you just repeat the question, to come up with some kind of arrow out of your quiver. And you're going to come with one of those building blocks, because all content is pretty much right there. Also, go ahead and write down in your building blocks of content, write down opinions. Everybody say opinions.
Opinions.
Based on this information, what I think we should do. People love airing out their opinions. You know, in my expert opinion, I mean, I've seen a lot of case studies go down this road. And, you know, what I think would be the right thing to do here is, everybody has an opinion, right? We can do past, present, and future. Well, if you think about it, 10 years ago, mental health wasn't, talked about that often, But today, it's something that is really something on everybody's front burner. And can you imagine, 10 years from now, if we continue down this road, what kind of a healthy society we could all have and be living in? How many people can imagine that kind of society, right? So you can go past, present, and future. You can go with PrEP. Everybody write down PrEP. It's going to be kind of like an acronym, P-R-E-P. So I'm just giving you, now, give yourself a little room on this one, because I'm going to give you. So the PrEP stands for, number one is point. State the point that you believe. Number two is reason. State the reason you believe in that point to be true. Number three is example. So PrEP is an acronym. E is for example. And after you tell them an example of this would be da-da-da-da-da-da, you restate the point. And that's why I believe that da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, let's try the PrEP one. Let's try the PrEP. Everybody, we're going to do a little round robin. And
What's the R?
somebody help out. Each one to teach one.
Point, reason, example. I didn't get the last P.
Yeah,
Point.
but
Restate the point again.
Obviously.
But what was the reason? The reason is why I believe the point? Okay.
An example of that would be, and then you restate, and that's why I believe, and then you restate your point. So I'm just giving you a lot of ways to spin off endless content for days and days and days. There's more. There's more out there. But let's just do the PrEP real quick. So everybody, we're going to come here. We're going to do a PrEP. We're going to do a PrEP. So I believe, state a point that you believe in. The reason I believe that is because an example of that would be, highlight it with an example, root it, ground it, and then repeat the point. And that's why I believe that, whatever it is. Okay, we're going to play popcorn. That way you don't know it's your turn.